The storm was finally beginning to wane. After countless hours of strategy, courage, and relentless effort, the human fleet had slowed its destructive path. The stabilizing lattice of human ships held firm, pushing back the chaotic energy and creating pockets of calm throughout the storm's core. Systems that had been at the brink of annihilation now had a chance to survive. Captain Mira Solis stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge, her eyes scanning the data streams. Despite the exhaustion etched into every crew member's face, there was a spark of hope in the ship's corridors. Engineers worked tirelessly to repair minor damages. Pilots ran final simulations, and scientists recalculated energy flows to maintain the lattice's stability. The storm was not fully gone, but it was contained, and that was enough. Lieutenant Arun Patel approached Mira, voice quiet but firm. "Captain, the lattice is holding. We've slowed the storm to a level that no longer threatens the nearby colonies. Energy fluctuations are stable, and our calculations suggest the storm may dissipate completely within hours if we maintain this." Mira nodded, relief softening her expression. "Good. Prepare the fleet for the final push. Every ship must stay in formation. Every human must do their part until the very end." Across the galaxy, distant alien civilizations watched the human fleet with awe. Messages flooded in from observers who had once doubted the humans' capability. Some sent small fleets to assist, finally realizing that courage and ingenuity could turn the tide even against forces far beyond their comprehension. Yet most stood back, quietly amazed at what a small, underestimated species had achieved. The storm pulsed violently one final time, as if challenging the humans to prove their resolve. Energy arcs crackled across space, striking several ships and causing minor damage. Sparks flew along hulls, alarms screamed, and crew members braced themselves. "Hold the lattice," Mira commanded, voice steady. "We've come too far to falter now. Humans act when others hesitate. That is our strength. That is our legacy." Small ships and larger vessels alike synchronized their shields, engines, and energy grids. Every pulse of the storm was met with precise human adaptation. Engineers rerouted power, recalculated flows, and reinforced shields. Pilots maneuvered with skill that no alien fleet had ever demonstrated under such extreme conditions. Ensign Kira Lant monitored the storm's heart. "Captain, the energy arcs are weakening. The lattice is pushing the storm back. If we maintain this, we can force it to dissipate." Mira allowed herself a small smile. "Good, keep it steady. The galaxy is watching. Humans are showing them what determination can achieve." As the hours passed, the storm began to fracture. Dark tendrils of energy, once so strong they had destroyed entire star systems, shrank and collapsed. Pockets of calm space expanded outward, giving life a chance to flourish once again. The fleet pressed on, not to conquer the storm, but to protect the galaxy. Every crew member understood the importance of their mission. They had faced fear, loss, and exhaustion, but they never wavered. Every maneuver, every calculation, and every act of courage mattered. Across the galaxy, alien observers sent messages of gratitude and respect. Civilizations that had doubted humanity now acknowledged their skill, courage, and selflessness. Some sent aid to help repair the damaged human ships, while others studied human methods, hoping to learn from their ingenuity. Even the smallest colonies, far from the central fleets, received protection thanks to the humans' efforts. Systems that might have been destroyed were spared. Lives that would have been lost were saved. And all because a species that had once been underestimated chose to act when others hesitated. The horizon's edge moved through the calming storm, Captain Mira Solis standing at the helm. "We've done it," she said softly. "We've protected the galaxy. We've proven that humans matter." Lieutenant Patel smiled, exhaustion clear on his face. "Not just humans, Captain, humanity." Mira nodded. "Yes, humanity." The fleet regrouped for one final check. Damage was repaired as much as possible, shields recalibrated and engines tuned. The storm, once a relentless and unstoppable force, now flickered and faded, leaving space calmer than it had been in decades. The galaxy had witnessed something extraordinary. For the first time, humans were not just a small, primitive species. They were leaders, pioneers, and saviors. Their courage and determination had inspired even the most advanced civilizations. Back on Earth, celebrations were quiet, but heartfelt. Families waited anxiously for news of the fleet, and when updates arrived, relief and pride washed across the planet. Children learned of Captain Mira Solis, Ensign Kira Lant, and the crews who had risked everything. They learned that courage, intelligence, and selflessness could change the course of history. The surviving human crews returned home slowly, carrying stories of heroism, sacrifice, and determination. Ships were battered and lives had been lost, but the legacy of their actions would endure. Humanity had faced an unimaginable threat and emerged not only alive but victorious. Alien civilizations, once dismissive, began seeking alliances with humans. They respected their courage, ingenuity, and willingness to act when others could not. Diplomats, scholars, and scientists from across the galaxy approached human leaders, eager to learn from them. Humans, however, remained humble. They acted not for recognition or glory, but because it was the right thing to do. Captain Mira Solis addressed her crew one final time. "We have faced darkness and emerged into the light. We acted when others hesitated. We sacrificed, adapted, and persevered. That is what it means to be human. That is the legacy we leave behind." Ensign Lant added softly, "We showed the galaxy that courage matters, that action matters, that hope matters, and indeed it did. Systems that might have been lost were saved. Alien civilizations began to reconsider their assumptions about humanity, and humans themselves understood something they had always known. When the galaxy faces its darkest hour, courage, determination, and selflessness can change the future." The storm was gone. Space was calm. Stars shone once more across the galaxy, and in the hearts of every human who had fought, a quiet pride remained. They had done what others could not. They had answered when no one else would. Captain Mira Solis looked out at the endless stars, thinking of the lives they had saved, the sacrifices made, and the future that lay ahead. "We have shown them," she whispered. "Humans act. Humans endure. Humans protect. And when the galaxy needs us most, we will always answer." As the fleet made its way home, the galaxy began to change. Humans were no longer dismissed as primitive or weak. They were respected, admired, and above all remembered as the species that stood in the galaxy's darkest hour and refused to turn away. Hope had returned, and with it, a new era of unity and respect. The story of the humans who dared to act spread across star systems. Children on distant planets looked up at the stars, dreaming of courage, exploration, and selflessness. And somewhere deep in the hearts of humans, the knowledge remained. Even in the face of unimaginable darkness, they would always answer. The galaxy had learned a powerful truth. Humans, small but determined, courageous and intelligent, could change the course of history. They had faced trials, endured sacrifices, and taken risks that no one else dared. And in doing so, they had left a legacy that would echo across the stars for generations to come. In the darkest hour, humanity had shone brightest. The Grand Council of the Galaxy was in session, a hall larger than any human city, floating above a shimmering blue star. Delegates from hundreds of advanced civilizations had gathered, their voices echoing through the vast chamber like waves of sound and light. Towering crystalline beings, sleek metallic forms, and creatures of energy drifted among the seats, each representing their species' interests. At the center of it all, humans sat quietly, their presence barely noticed. Commander Arlen, the human ambassador, observed the room with calm patience. Unlike the other species, humans did not have the benefit of advanced holographic displays or massive neural networks. They came with simple devices, their bodies ordinary, their movements unremarkable. Yet there was a quiet confidence in their posture that seemed to unsettle some observers, even if they did not understand why. As the meeting began, the chatter of alien voices filled the hall. Most of it was polite, but there was an undercurrent of amusement directed at the human delegation. "Primitive," muttered a Voran delegate, its translucent form shimmering with disdain. "They still breathe their own air and walk on solid ground. Do they even know about quantum navigation?" asked a metallic voice from the Zelvian cluster. The sound was more mechanical hum than speech, but its meaning was clear. Laughter erupted among nearby delegates. Humans smiled politely, ignoring the ridicule. Arlen's eyes scanned the room carefully, noting the subtle biases and assumptions being made. These were intelligent beings, each capable of feats that could make a human scientist's head spin, and yet they underestimated the humans entirely. The council moved on to the topic of interstellar exploration. Many species were eager to expand into new galaxies, claiming territories and resources. Humans were asked to present their plans last, and when their turn came, there was a ripple of polite laughter. Of course, the humans have only a few colonies in the Sol system. One alien sneered. I suppose they intend to conquer the stars with wooden ships and candlelight. Arlen's calm voice carried through the hall. We do not seek conquest, he said. We seek understanding, and in our own way we are capable of contributing to the Council's mission. The room fell silent for a moment. The alien delegates exchanged curious glances, some of them rolling their multiple eyes in skepticism. Then laughter filled the hall again. The humans, they thought, had no real place in a galaxy of ancient, powerful civilizations. Despite the mockery, strange things began to happen around the human delegation. A hovering datasphere from a Voran scientist malfunctioned when it approached the humans. Machines flickered and screens displayed random symbols when the humans passed by. The aliens shrugged it off as coincidence, but Arlen noted it carefully. Humans had never touched the sphere, yet its functions seemed to react to their presence. During a break, a small group of delegates gathered near the humans, whispering among themselves. It is curious, said Vryn, an alien scientist with tentacle-like appendages. Every time they are near, instruments behave strangely. There is something in them that we cannot measure. Arlen listened politely, then responded with a calm smile. Perhaps it is simply observation that changes the outcome. Humans notice patterns differently than other species. We do not always rely on technology. Vryn blinked her multifaceted eyes. Observation? She asked. With what? Their minds? Their senses? Surely you jest? No, Arlen replied. Humans often solve problems without machines, without advanced computation. We trust our understanding and our instincts. Sometimes that is enough. The aliens laughed again, louder this time. Surely they thought no species with such simple tools could match their intelligence. The council sessions continued, filled with debates, proposals, and interjections. Humans listened quietly, rarely speaking, absorbing everything around them with focused attention. After several hours, the council adjourned for the day. Delegates floated out of the hall, their voices still filled with amusement at the humans. Arlen stepped outside onto the observation balcony, looking at the galaxy stretched out like a jewel-studded tapestry. The other humans followed, some exchanging quiet smiles, others scanning the stars with careful calculation. Arlen turned to his team. They think us weak because we appear simple, he said softly. But simplicity is often mistaken for ignorance. The galaxy has seen civilizations rise and fall. We have endured longer than most can imagine. A young human officer, Mara, looked up at him with wide eyes. Do you really think they'll ever take us seriously? She asked. They will, Arlen said. But first they must learn the hard way. Let them underestimate us. It is the safest strategy. That evening, as the council chamber dimmed its lights, strange phenomena continued. Alien devices continued to misbehave near the humans. Holographic maps glitched when a human touched the control panel. A robot from the Zelvian delegation spun in a circle, seemingly confused. None of the aliens could explain these occurrences, and none dared ask the humans directly. The next morning, the council reconvened. Arlen and the humans remained silent observers while debates raged around them. Discussions about resource allocation, star system governance, and trade agreements filled the air. Humans asked few questions, yet their quiet attentiveness drew the eyes of some delegates. Vryn, who had been studying the humans closely, approached Arlen during a break. You are not what we thought, she said, her voice a mixture of curiosity and disbelief. Your presence affects our instruments. How is this possible? Arlen smiled, choosing his words carefully. We humans have always adapted. We have learned to sense patterns, to understand systems, and to act intuitively. Sometimes understanding is more powerful than technology. Vryn frowned, unable to fully comprehend what he meant. She had always relied on machines, data, and computational power. Yet something about the humans' quiet confidence unsettled her. The session resumed, and the human delegation finally presented their proposal for an interstellar research mission. Unlike other species, they did not offer massive fleets or complex machinery. Instead, they proposed small, efficient ships guided by intuition, careful observation, and adaptive learning. The other delegates snickered openly. They send 3 ships and expect to map a star cluster? One laughed. This is almost farcical. Arlen stood calmly and replied, We do not underestimate the universe. We adapt to it. We learn from it, and we endure. The hall fell silent. The words themselves seemed simple, almost ordinary. Yet, there was a weight behind them, a quiet authority that even the mocking aliens could not ignore. Over the next few days, humans quietly assisted in minor experiments and exploratory missions. Each time, alien devices failed around them in ways no one could explain. A probe recalculated its course, an energy field stabilized, and a scanning device detected anomalies that no machine should have detected. Each incident was subtle, easily dismissed if one did not pay close attention, yet the pattern was undeniable. The aliens continued to laugh, oblivious to what was unfolding. Perhaps they are lucky, some whispered among themselves. A fluke of coincidence, but Arlen knew better. Humans were more than luck. They were survivors of countless trials shaped by centuries of adaptation. Their minds, their instincts, and their cooperation were honed in ways that no alien civilization could yet comprehend. As the council prepared to conclude the session, a message arrived from an uncharted system. The signal was weak, garbled, but it indicated unusual activity, an anomaly that required immediate attention. The council debated who should investigate. Every species argued for their own fleets, yet none of the calculations made sense. Arlen raised his hand, calm but firm. "Humans can assist," he said. "We can interpret patterns that machines cannot." "Let us help," laughter erupted immediately. "You!" one alien shouted. "You cannot even cross a vacuum without a machine." Arlen smiled. "Sometimes understanding comes not from machines, but from the mind that uses them." "We are ready." The council dismissed him with polite chuckles, but the humans were already preparing their instruments. Small, simple ships, modest tools, and a quiet confidence, this was all they needed. They did not boast. They did not demand recognition. They simply acted as humans always had. As the ships left the council hall, an eerie silence followed. Alien devices that had previously malfunctioned seemed to stabilize, yet the aliens could not shake the feeling that the humans were different. Not merely capable, not merely lucky, but something far older, far deeper, and far more enduring than any of them could imagine. The laughter of the council echoed through the stars, but Arlen and his team knew it would not last. The universe was vast, mysterious, and full of surprises, and humans had endured quietly and patiently, waiting for the moment the galaxy would finally see them as they truly were. By the time the humans returned to their quarters that night, the galaxy outside was silent and infinite. Stars shimmered like distant eyes, and Arlen gazed at them thoughtfully. "They laugh now," he said softly, "but soon they will realize the truth. Humanity has walked among the stars far longer than they know, and when that day comes, they will understand why no laughter can diminish what we are." The human ships left the Grand Council's orbit, gliding silently through the empty stretch of space. Their small, sleek vessels were nothing compared to the massive fleets of alien species, yet they moved with precision and quiet confidence. Commander Arlen stood at the helm of the lead ship, his eyes scanning the starfield ahead. Beside him, Officer Mara monitored the readings. "Commander," she said, her voice calm but alert, "the anomaly signal is growing stronger." "It seems unusual. Nothing in our database matches it." Arlen nodded. "Unusual is exactly what we expected. The universe is full of surprises. Let us see what it has to show us." The alien fleets watching from a distance could not contain their amusement. "The humans again," sneered a Zelvian delegate. "They send a few tiny ships into unknown space and expect to return safely. Such recklessness." "They are lucky," muttered another. "Or perhaps they are not as simple as we thought. But surely luck cannot last forever." Meanwhile, the humans approached the source of the signal. It originated from a star system unrecorded in the galactic maps, its stars faint but shining with a strange golden light. Planetary orbits were irregular, and energy readings suggested the presence of structures that were not natural. Arlen looked at the system with quiet fascination. "Prepare the probes," he ordered. "Let us learn what we can without disturbing it." The human ships deployed small scouting drones. As the drones approached the anomaly, the readings became more complicated. Energy patterns fluctuated in ways that no alien sensor could interpret. Shields shimmered unpredictably. Communications became garbled. Vryn, watching from a council observation station aboard a nearby alien ship, could hardly believe her eyes. "Commander Arlen," she called, "your presence is affecting the readings." How is this possible? Arlen did not answer directly. Instead, he studied the anomaly, his mind moving faster than any computation machine. Sometimes, he said softly, patterns can be understood with patience, observation, and intuition. Technology alone cannot see the truth. The human drones moved carefully, scanning the surfaces of several planets in the system. One planet, partially covered in silver clouds, revealed the ruins of enormous structures. Towering monoliths, spiral towers, and vast plazas covered the surface. The architecture was far older than any civilization recorded by the Council. Mara gasped. These ruins? They predate any known species. The energy readings. They are stable yet unlike anything in the galactic records. Arlen nodded. It seems we have found something important. Prepare to land the teams. We need to investigate carefully. As the humans descended onto the planet, the aliens continued to watch from a distance, mocking quietly. What can these primitive beings possibly learn? One laughed. They will touch rocks and think they are scientists. The humans moved with calm precision. They did not rely on heavy equipment. Instead, they walked the surface, observing patterns in the ruins, tracing symbols with their fingers and noting connections that no alien machine could recognize. Arlen approached a massive stone monolith, etched with strange symbols. He traced the carvings lightly, closing his eyes for a moment. These markings? They are more than decoration. They tell a story, a sequence of events. We can understand it. Mara looked at him in surprise. You can read it? How? Arlen smiled gently. Not in the way your machines read it. The humans have an instinct for patterns, for sequences. It is something we inherit from our past. Sometimes understanding comes from within, not from technology. The aliens, still observing remotely, grew uneasy. Vrin's tentacles twitched. Impossible, she whispered. No species could interpret this without artificial intelligence, and yet, they do it instinctively. As humans explored further, they discovered a chamber deep beneath the surface. Its walls glowed faintly with a strange energy. Inside, a circular platform hummed, responding to the humans' presence. When Arlen stepped onto the platform, the energy patterns shifted, forming sequences that no alien had ever seen. This is a control system, Arlen said softly. But it is not mechanical. It responds to awareness, to understanding. It is alive in a sense. And it recognizes us, Mara stared in awe. Recognizes us? But why? Arlen did not answer immediately. He studied the platform, then touched a series of glyphs. Suddenly, visions flooded his mind. Scenes of distant worlds, vast civilizations rising and falling, humans moving among them with purpose and care. They were explorers, guardians, and creators. A deep, ancient connection to the galaxy itself became clear. Outside, alien ships struggled to comprehend what was happening. Sensors could not read the energy. Machines failed. Vrin's voice trembled as she communicated with her council. The humans, they are not as they appear. Something about them is ancient. Older than we imagined, perhaps. Older than all of us. Arlen removed his hand from the glyphs, breathing steadily. We are the inheritors of knowledge long lost, he said quietly. The galaxy is full of civilizations that came and went before the Council existed. Humans survived. We adapted. We learned. And we endure. Mara looked at him, astonished. Does this mean we were always here? Arlen nodded. Not just here, but part of the galaxy's story. The structures, the energy, the systems, they all recognize a lineage, a presence that has always been patient and observant. We are the continuation of an ancient order, quietly watching as civilizations rise and fall. The alien observers, realizing something, grew frantic. Explain this, one demanded through a communication channel. How can this be? How can humans have such connection to the galaxy? Arlen replied calmly. We do not need to explain it. Observation and understanding reveal the truth over time. It is enough that we act with wisdom and patience. The galaxy itself knows our place. Despite the calm words, the aliens were uneasy. Machines could not compute the humans' influence. Instruments failed, and even the most advanced sensors could not interpret the energy patterns. A sense of humility and even fear began to spread among them. Over the next several days, humans explored more ruins. They discovered ancient libraries of energy, records of civilizations that had vanished millions of years ago. They traced star routes, understood energy flows, and learned secrets that the Council had never imagined. Mara, now working closely with Arlen, said quietly, I never imagined humans could be this capable, not just in survival, but in understanding the universe itself. Arlen smiled. We do not seek to show power. We seek to understand, to endure, and to contribute. Sometimes wisdom is quiet. Sometimes it is patient, but it is always stronger than arrogance. Back on the observation ships, Vryn and other aliens debated furiously. We mocked them, she said. We laughed. We dismissed them as primitive. And yet, look at what they can do. They are not merely intelligent. They are something else, something older, something deeper. No, another alien protested. It cannot be. Humans are simple. How can a species with such small technology achieve what our greatest minds cannot? Vryn shook her head. It is not about technology. It is about instinct, understanding, and connection. They read the universe not as data but as life. They are elder beings, perhaps older than we imagined. Arlen watched the stars from the planet's surface, thinking of the irony. The very species that had laughed at humans, dismissed them, and mocked them now began to realize a truth far greater than they expected. Humans were not newcomers. They were observers, learners, and survivors of a galaxy that had seen millennia pass. As the team prepared to return to their ships, Arlen said, "We must move carefully. The Council must not yet know our full history. They must learn gradually, for arrogance blinds the mind. But this discovery, it changes everything." Mara nodded. "They will never see us the same way again." "Perhaps," Arlen said softly, "but let them doubt. Let them underestimate us. Patience is our ally, as it has always been. The galaxy has long forgotten our presence, but it will remember. In time, all will see the truth." As the human ships departed the uncharted system, the aliens followed at a distance, uneasy and increasingly silent. The laughter had stopped. Curiosity replaced mockery, and a quiet realization began to take root in the hearts of even the most arrogant delegates. Humans were not ordinary. They were something far older, far wiser, and far more enduring than any species had imagined. The discovery had begun, and with it, the seeds of awe, respect, and eventual fear were quietly sown across the galaxy. The human ships returned to the observation point near the alien council fleets, their hulls unmarked, their crew calm and collected. Inside the alien observation chambers, whispers and murmurs filled the air. Vryn paced back and forth, her tentacles curling nervously. "Commander Arlen," she called through the communication channel. "Your people. What you have done is impossible. How can such a simple species interact with these structures as if they were born to do it?" Arlen's calm voice responded. "We do not claim to be simple. We adapt, we observe, and we learn. That is all. The rest reveals itself in time." Vryn paused. She had witnessed humans intuitively solving problems that had baffled the Council's greatest minds. The ancient ruins, the energy fields, the sequences of knowledge encoded in structures older than any known civilization, all had responded to humans in ways machines could not explain. "It is as if the galaxy itself recognizes you," she said softly, more to herself than to Arlen. Arlen did not answer directly. Instead, he studied the alien fleets with a quiet patience. He had seen this before. Species confident in their power, their intelligence, their tools, underestimating humans because they looked ordinary. Yet ordinary appearances often hid extraordinary potential. Within the council chambers, debates raged. Alien scientists and leaders tried to explain the human anomaly using equations, simulations, and energy readings. Every attempt failed. Every calculation returned contradictions. The humans' actions, their observations, their very presence seemed to defy logic. One elder Zelvian delegate finally spoke. "We must acknowledge a possibility we have avoided. These humans, they are older than any known species. Their connection to the galaxy is not recent. It is ancient." The council fell silent. Words like ancient and elder echoed uncomfortably. For millennia, every species had assumed itself to be among the oldest and wisest. And now, a species they had mocked as primitive might surpass them all in history and endurance. Meanwhile, humans quietly continued their work. They did not boast or demand recognition. They explored, documented, and interpreted. In one chamber of the alien council ship, Arlen and his team analyzed artifacts brought back from the uncharted system. Symbols, geometric patterns, and energy flows all pointed to a civilization that had flourished long before current galactic records existed. "This civilization," Mara said softly, tracing her fingers over a glowing glyph. They were incredibly advanced. Faster than light travel, energy manipulation, even star seeding, and yet their records ended mysteriously. Arlen nodded. We survived. That is the difference. Others rose and others fell. Humans endured because we adapt, because we observe, and because we learn. Our place is not as conquerors, but as stewards, quietly preserving knowledge and understanding. Outside, the aliens monitored the humans with growing unease. Every time the humans approached a new artifact, energy readings shifted, structures stabilized, and anomalies resolved themselves in ways no machine could calculate. Vryn's tentacles twitched uncontrollably. "It is impossible," she whispered. They are the key. The key to understanding everything the galaxy has forgotten. Arlen led his team to a massive circular chamber deep beneath the surface of one of the planets. The walls shimmered with ancient energy. Symbols shifted and rotated as humans entered, responding not to technology but to presence and thought. Arlen placed his hand on a central glyph, and the chamber's energy expanded, filling the room with light and knowledge. Visions appeared in his mind. Ancient worlds, humans moving among civilizations, guiding them, teaching them, protecting knowledge. Humans had been explorers, builders, and guardians long before the Council existed. They had seeded knowledge, nurtured life, and observed the galaxy patiently. Mara gasped. This is incredible. We were always here. We shaped the galaxy quietly without being noticed. Arlen nodded. Yes. And now the time has come for others to see the truth gradually. The galaxy is ready to understand, but it must do so slowly. Arrogance blinds even the wisest species. Let them learn one step at a time. Vryn, observing remotely, recorded every moment with trembling attention. They are elder beings, she whispered. Not merely humans, but the inheritors of an ancient galactic legacy. They survived where countless others failed. They endured when others perished. They are the true elders. Within the council chambers, whispers turned to debates. Alien delegates could no longer dismiss the humans as simple or primitive. Patterns were too consistent, knowledge too precise, intuition too accurate. Machines had failed to explain it. Calculations had failed to predict it. Every observation confirmed one undeniable truth. Humans were older, wiser, and far more connected to the galaxy than anyone had imagined. Arlen and his team continued their exploration. Each discovery added another layer to the human story. The remains of civilizations that had vanished, energy conduits linking planets across light years, star maps etched into stone and crystal. Every artifact, every symbol, every energy field responded to humans instinctively, revealing secrets that no alien technology could access. Mara studied one ancient crystal, tracing its lines carefully. The energy flows. It responds to us, not the machines. It recognizes our presence, our understanding. We are part of it, Arlen smiled gently. Exactly. Technology can measure, but understanding is more than measurement. It is connection. Humans survive and thrive because we see patterns, adapt to them, and endure. That is why we exist. Quietly guiding, quietly observing, quietly enduring. The Council began to realize the weight of the revelation. Species that had once dismissed humans were now silent, watching and trying to comprehend. The laughter that had echoed through the chamber was replaced with awe, confusion, and even fear. Vryn approached Arlen cautiously through the communication channel. "Commander," she said softly, I do not understand. How can humans be so ancient, so capable? How did you survive where countless civilizations vanished?" Arlen's voice remained calm, his tone patient. "Adaptation, observation, and endurance. Humans do not rely solely on technology. We rely on each other, our understanding, and our instincts. We do not rush to power or conquest. We endure, quietly and patiently, learning as the galaxy changes. That is our strength." The alien observers struggled to comprehend. Every theory they had built crumbled. Machines that once calculated outcomes with perfect accuracy now returned errors and anomalies whenever humans were involved. Energy fields stabilized only when humans were present. Ancient structures responded instinctively to their actions. The revelation began to spread throughout the council. One elder Zelvian finally spoke aloud, his voice trembling with respect. "We laughed at them. We mocked them. We assumed they were primitive. But now I see. Humans are the keepers of knowledge. the survivors of civilizations lost. They are the elder species, older than any of us, wiser than any of us, and enduring in ways we cannot yet understand. Other delegates nodded slowly, the weight of the truth settling upon them. Pride and arrogance gave way to humility. The humans, calm and patient, had shown the galaxy that strength did not always come from machines, power, or technology. It came from endurance, understanding, and the quiet wisdom that only time and experience could bring. Arlen stood in the central chamber, looking at the ancient artifacts, the glowing symbols, and the energy that hummed around them. "The galaxy is vast," he said softly. "Many civilizations rise and fall, thinking they are the masters. Humans endure because we do not seek to dominate. We seek to learn, to observe, and to adapt. That is why we are here, and that is why we will continue to exist long after others are gone." Mara looked at him with admiration. "They will never forget us now. The Council, the galaxy, they will finally see what humans truly are." Arlen smiled faintly. "Let them come to that realization in their own time. Patience is a human strength. Let arrogance fade. Let understanding grow. Soon the galaxy will respect humanity not for power, but for endurance, wisdom, and presence." As the humans prepared to leave the ancient system, the aliens watched in silence. No laughter remained. Instead, there was awe, uncertainty, and a growing respect for the species they had once mocked. Humans had revealed a truth that no machine could measure and no calculation could predict. They were the inheritors of the galaxy's ancient wisdom, quietly shaping its future while remaining patient, observant, and enduring. The first seeds of fear and admiration had been planted. The galaxy was beginning to realize that humans were not newcomers. They were not primitive. They were the ancient, enduring species, and their true power was only beginning to be understood. The revelation had begun, and with it, the course of galactic history would never be the same. The galaxy was not as calm as it seemed. A massive star located near a cluster of inhabited systems had become unstable. Energy readings indicated it was on the verge of a catastrophic supernova, capable of destroying planets and destabilizing star systems for light years. Alien fleets panicked, scrambling calculations, simulations, and emergency measures. Yet none could find a solution that was both safe and effective. The Grand Council convened immediately. Delegates argued loudly, each species pushing its own agenda, blaming others, and overestimating the capabilities of their own fleets. Plans collided in confusion. Machines that had always been relied upon failed to provide answers. The galaxy teetered on the brink of disaster, and chaos reigned. Amid this chaos, humans remained calm. Commander Arlen stood at the council platform, his presence quiet but commanding. "We can help," he said simply. The words, calm and measured, drew the attention of all delegates. The aliens laughed initially. "You, humans?" One snorted. "Do you truly believe a species with small ships and simple technology can manage what fleets of our greatest civilizations cannot?" Arlen's calm smile remained. "We do not claim to be stronger. We claim only to understand, and understanding is sometimes more powerful than fleets or machines." The council reluctantly agreed to allow humans to participate, if only to test whether their presence could contribute. Human ships moved into position, small and efficient, guided not by complex calculations but by observation, intuition, and adaptive learning. Arlen studied the star and the surrounding systems carefully. "We cannot force the star to behave," he explained to Mara and the team. "But we can work with the energy flows, stabilize the system, and guide the planets to safety. Observation, timing, and coordination will be our tools." Mara looked at him with amazement. "Commander, do you really think we can succeed? This star is enormous. It will destroy everything if we fail." Arlen's eyes were steady. "Failure is always possible. But humans endure, we adapt. And when we act together, we find solutions others cannot." The humans deployed specialized devices, small yet ingeniously designed. They did not rely on raw power, but on understanding the energy flows of the star and the surrounding planets. As they worked, alien observers noticed something remarkable. The energy waves responded to the humans. Magnetic fields stabilized, energy flares shifted, and dangerous cosmic debris moved along safer paths. Vryn, observing remotely, whispered to herself, "It is impossible. Every calculation we made predicted chaos, yet they manage it effortlessly." The aliens' arrogance began to fade. Machines failed where humans succeeded. Ships that were considered the most advanced could not anticipate the star's movements. Yet humans adjusted in real time, reacting intuitively to fluctuations and patterns invisible to any sensor. Arlen coordinated the efforts of the human fleet, guiding each ship with subtle precision. "Adjust your position by 5 degrees, he instructed one team. "Redirect the flow here. Observe, then act." Each command was executed seamlessly. The humans worked as one, their minds connected not through machines but through focus, experience, and instinct. Slowly, the massive star's energy waves began to stabilize. Planetary orbits adjusted slightly, avoiding collisions. Radiation fields softened, making nearby planets safer. The aliens watched in stunned silence. How can this be?" Vryn asked, her voice trembling. "No species could do this. Not even our oldest fleets, our greatest machines. And yet, humans." Arlen did not boast. He simply observed, calculated, and guided. "Sometimes," he said quietly, "power without understanding is useless. Machines can only follow rules. Humans can see the rules and know when to change them." Hours passed. The star continued to fluctuate, but the humans' calm coordination kept the surrounding systems intact. They did not panic. They did not argue. They adapted to the unpredictable nature of the cosmos. Alien delegates, once mocking and dismissive, now sought guidance. They tried to mimic the humans' methods but failed repeatedly. Finally, the star's energy stabilized. Fluctuations became predictable. Dangerous radiation fields were reduced. Planetary orbits were secure. The crisis was averted, not through raw power, not through computation alone, but through observation, adaptation, and the humans' quiet mastery of understanding. The council erupted into silence. The delegates who had once laughed at the humans were now humbled. They did it," one whispered. "We doubted them. And yet, they succeeded where we failed." Vryn approached Arlen directly, her voice shaking with respect. "Commander, I understand now. Humans are not just survivors. You are something greater. The galaxy itself responds to you. Your understanding, your patience, your endurance, it surpasses anything we have ever known." Arlen nodded. "We do not seek to be greater. We seek only to endure, to learn, and to act with wisdom. Strength is not always measured in power. Sometimes it is measured in patience, observation, and understanding." The council quickly moved to formally recognize the humans' achievement. Delegates offered apologies for their previous mockery, admitting their arrogance and underestimation. "We laughed at you," one elder said, "but now we see that our laughter was misplaced. You are not only capable, you are elder beings in wisdom, endurance, and understanding." Mara watched quietly as the aliens' expressions shifted from disbelief to awe. "Commander," she said softly, "they finally see us." Arlen smiled faintly. "They see part of us. There is more to understand. But yes, the first step is recognition. The galaxy will learn, slowly, that humans are not newcomers. We are enduring. We are patient. And we are capable of far more than they imagined." In the days following the crisis, humans continued to assist in stabilizing systems, guiding fleets, and coordinating energy flows. Their methods were simple, elegant, and effective. Machines could not replicate their adaptability. Even the most advanced sensors could not predict their intuition. Every action reinforced the growing realization among alien civilizations. Humans were not only clever, they were wise, resilient, and ancient in ways that had long been overlooked. The story of human success spread quickly throughout the galaxy. Delegates who had once dismissed them now sought alliances. Fleets that had mocked their small ships now respected their judgment. The humans' quiet confidence contrasted sharply with the aliens' panic and arrogance, highlighting the unique strength that humans possessed. Arlen remained humble. "Recognition is only the beginning," he said. "We do not seek dominance. We seek understanding, adaptation, and endurance. Let the galaxy learn from patience, observation, and cooperation." Vryn, now a close observer of the human delegation, said quietly, "I have seen civilizations rise and fall. I have seen stars die and worlds vanish. But humans, you endure. You adapt. You understand. You are something the galaxy has long forgotten." "Yes," Arlen replied softly, "and it is time the galaxy remembers. But not with force, not with arrogance, but with wisdom, patience, and respect. That is how humans survive. That is how humans endure." By the end of the crisis, the Grand Council had changed fundamentally. Aliens who had once dismissed humans were now hesitant to underestimate them. They respected their methods, marveled at their intuition, and acknowledged that humans possessed knowledge and endurance far beyond appearances. The galaxy itself seemed to shift in recognition. Where humans moved, energy fields stabilized. Where humans observed, machines that had failed began to function predictably. The subtle influence of their presence was undeniable. Arlen and his team prepared to depart the crisis zone. Mara looked at him thoughtfully. "Commander, the Council, the galaxy, will never be the same after this. They respect us now, but will they ever understand the full truth?" Arlen's eyes reflected the distant stars. "Perhaps not yet, but they will learn. Patience is our greatest strength. Let them recognize our actions first. Understanding comes later. And when that day comes, the galaxy will remember that humans are not merely participants, but elders, enduring and guiding quietly, shaping the future without demanding recognition." The humans left the star cluster, their small ships moving gracefully through space. Behind them, alien fleets followed at a cautious distance, observing, learning, and no longer laughing. The galaxy had witnessed the first clear demonstration of human superiority, not through force, not through machines, but through endurance, wisdom, and understanding. For the first time in the history of the Council, humans were recognized not as primitive newcomers, but as an elder species, ancient, enduring, and quietly powerful. And the seeds of awe, respect, and cautious fear had been firmly planted across the galaxy.